I grew up in Fairfield, Iowa, a small town of 10,000 environmentally and health-conscious hippies. I was raised in the country with a lot of land to run around on with my dog, but my parents weren't farmers. I started farming when I was 15 when I got a job at our local organic, sustainable, grass-fed dairy that supplied milk to our organic-obsessed town. Before my first day milking cows, I wanted to be a veterinarian. After my first day, I wanted to be a farmer. For the next few years, I worked on the dairy learning about pasture management, cow and calf health, tractors, and would give tours to community members who wanted to learn about the farm. I attended Iowa State University in 2010 to study dairy science. My background in sustainable agriculture made me very different from my peers. No professor talked about organic methods or even grazing. I found myself speaking up in class to correct the professors when they would teach false assumptions about sustainable and organic agriculture. During my second semester at Iowa State, I took a dairy controversial issues class where we would discuss issues in the dairy industry. The raw milk debate was the biggest debate of the semester. The reason why there is an issue around raw milk is that, like many other foods, milk can be a host for harmful pathogens. During the early 19th century, when agriculture became industrialized, dairy farming conditions became dirtier due to confinement. Animals were able to be raised in one area because we now had the technology to harvest grain and hay and bring it to the animals, rather than the animals grazing themselves. Dairy farms became larger, and thus the focus on each cow became less. In dirty environments, pathogens persist. In the early 19th century, Louis Pasteur found that when milk is heated to a certain temperature for a certain amount of time, pathogens can be destroyed. This was revolutionary for the dairy industry. It meant that farmers could keep farming in this way and have a safe milk product with an extended shelf life as well. In recent years, the demand for raw, untreated, unprocessed milk has been increasing as studies show that there are benefits to drinking the unpasteurized product. Lower incidences of asthma and allergies have been found in children who drink raw milk. The beneficial enzymes and bacteria contained in the raw product are said to be very healthy. Raw milk has been consumed for 8,000 to 10,000 years since Arachis, the wild ancestor of a modern cow, was first domesticated. If milk was inherently dangerous, it would have been eliminated from our diet years ago. Milk can and is produced safely all over the world in its raw form. It should be noted that all milk is a host for pathogens, and many people die from pasteurized milk every year. Food-borne illnesses affect the young, pregnant, and immune-compromised the most. Children eat what their parents choose for them, and when parents choose a potentially harmful food, regulations, laws, and politics tend to get involved. Clearly, this issue has many aspects. Anyway, back to the debate. On the raw milk debate day, a panel of 7 came into the class. There were food politicians, anti-raw milk advocates, biologists, nutritionists, and one pregnant raw milk farmer all the way from Vermont. The issue was heated. Class went over an hour and a half, and I was the only student of about 30 that supported the public's right to choose. The pregnant raw milk farmer from Vermont, who herself was raised on raw milk, raised her children on raw milk, and who drank raw milk during all of her pregnancies, didn't affect my peers' belief that individuals weren't educated enough to make decisions for their families. I felt very alone in a classroom full of peers my own age. I believe that there's a type of dairy for raw milk where milk can be produced safely, and there's a type of dairy that needs pasteurization in order to have a safe milk product. I also believe that the public should have the freedom to choose which milk they and their families drink. After the debate, I went to my advisor and told him of my frustrations, to which he replied, "We need to get you out of here." Through the National Student Exchange Program, I found Chico State to be the perfect getaway. Chico State's organic dairy and associated classes would give me the education I was lacking so I could return to Iowa and better hold my ground. A semester turned into a year, and then I was stuck. I couldn't leave Chico and the people in it. Coming to California expanded my knowledge of the farm industry far more than I ever expected. I say that life is all about the experiences, and I wanted to do it all. To become a California resident and avoid paying out-of-state tuition, I took time off and moved into a 15-foot Chevy camper van to live and work on Chaffin Family Orchards just south of Chico. Here, I picked fruit, sold at farmers markets, raised chickens for meat and eggs, I grazed beef cows and sheep, and I also hand-milked dairy cows and goats. Yes, I safely drank their milk raw and ate the cheese that I made out of it. Next, I wanted to develop my skills in growing food, so I secured an internship at Sierra Nevada Brewery's organic garden. By now, the only livestock animal I hadn't worked with was pigs. So I currently work at Massa Organics, raising pastured pigs on fallow rice fields, as well as rotating sheep through organic almond orchards. With the help of roommates, I have built a little urban farm in Chico where we raise chickens and ducks and grow a beautiful garden. I'm very pleased with the life I've made for myself in California. My life is full of opportunity, and my colorful past was all thanks to a raw milk debate I had when I was 18. I've learned that to keep things moving forward in life, we must follow our happiness, our heart, and our passions.